UK MP David Ward, who's accused, in his own words, the Jews of atrocities against Palestinians on the Holocaust Memorial Day, has been summoned to a meeting with members of his party to discuss his comments. But is it becoming more acceptable to make such comments in Parliament? Mr Ward was unavailable for comment. However, JN1 spoke to Justin Cohen, news editor at the Jewish News, who has been in contact with the MP.
We wanted to find out why, if he was so sorry for what he had said, 11 days after the statement, the original offending comments remained on his website. So we got in touch with him by email and asked, if you are in fact sorry about this, when are you going to remove the statement from your site? He sent me an email saying, would it be acceptable for me to replace the term the Jews with the Jewish community, effectively just repeating the slur that he had promised not to do.
MP for Leeds North East Fabian Hamilton says that a distinction between anti-Israel and anti-Semitic comments must be made.
I know David Ward. He's an MP in a neighbouring constituency to Leeds, and I live quite near, and I'm very disappointed, to be honest.
Do you think that it's becoming more acceptable to make such comments?
I think we have to be very careful, certainly as Jewish MPs, to make sure that we don't equate all anti-Israel remarks with anti-Semitic remarks. We've got to be careful. But I have seen increasing anger with Israel, which has spilt over into the kind of remark that David Ward has made publicly, where people think that it is not just Israel that's doing things, it's the Jews that are doing it.
Mr Hamilton's comments were echoed by Lord Alf Dubs of the Labour Party.
I was once criticised, or told off, because I was accused that if one criticised Israel, one was being anti-Semitic. Well, that's absolute nonsense. And anti-Israel is the policies of a government in the Middle East. Anybody can criticise them. Being anti-Semitic, being anti-Jewish is racism, and that's not acceptable.
I think this does come at a very important moment for the Liberal Democrats in terms of their relations with the Jewish community. In recent months, we've actually seen an improving in relations from a very low ebb just before the general election. Nick Clegg has given a speech to the Liberal Democrat Friends of Israel in which he said that the party hadn't always acknowledged both sides of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict in the way that they ought to. So I think everyone will be looking at the response of the party to this latest controversy.
Indeed, there are those within the Jewish community who believe that Mr Ward should be dismissed.
The Liberal Democrat Party has to deal with David Ward because we didn't see any disciplinary action taken against him. And based on the history of other Lib Dem members, such as Jenny Tong, who did have some of issues with Israel and with some anti-Semitic remarks last year, had to resign from the party. So what I would like to see the Liberal Democrat Party taking the whip of David Ward MP.
The Board of Deputies, the Jewish Leadership Council and other community leadership organisations have been assured by the Liberal Democrat Party that if more comments of a similar nature are made, the consequences for Mr Ward would escalate significantly beyond the official censure he received. As the issue continues, many in the Jewish community are hopeful that action will be taken against Mr Ward. This is Celestina Ololode for JN1 in London.